Brock, a lot of guys talked about the hope going into next year just because you had so many young guys get so many reps. Do you have the same feeling?
Definitely. It's pretty cool to have the amount of young guys that we had, offensively, defensively, special teams, step up into the roles that they had this year and flourish and take advantage of their ops and stuff. And so with that, obviously you think things can always get better if you have experience with things. So that's something that we'll definitely look forward to.
Brock, you mentioned the other night that the toe felt pretty good as the year went on. Will you need any procedure or any sort of special rehab or treatment after the season that would change your off season at all, or is that all good to go?
No, yeah, toe's good to go. I mean, obviously I'll continue to strengthen it and give it some rest and whatnot too. So, but it's good.
Brock, when you reflect on this season, what did you learn most? I know at one point in the season when I asked you about the time you spent off and kind of clicking with yourself, it was that time you had to spend off of the field with the toe turf. Now that it's all over, what have you learned the most and what have you reflected on the longest?
I think, just our quarterback room and Mick Lombardi, we talked about it today a little bit, but just how hard he coached the quarterbacks, but also had fun within the year, and what the mindset needs to be, going into each and every game. I feel like I grew in that regard, and my fundamentals, I feel like I got better this year and still improve, but I just feel like I got better in that space. So obviously I'll keep trying to improve the mental side of things. I think that's the next thing for me. But overall, man, I thought, it was a growth year for sure.
So a lot of your teammates are talking about how special this group is and was, and when they look back down the road, they'll really appreciate it. How does that feel for you? I think as a pantheon of teams, that this one is really kind of special?
Yeah, I really do think it was a special year. Given the circumstances that we were put in and dealt with, and guys going down, you see across the league that sometimes teams don't really have what it takes to have these kind of circumstances and then push forward and make it to the playoffs and have a chance to be the 1 seed at the end of the year and all the things that we were able to accomplish, man. Like a lot of teams would throw the towel and so for us to be able to do what we did, and we had 13 wins this year and had a lot of young guys step up and come into a role and play at a high level, and more than anything, the love of this locker room and the brotherhood that we have, to be able to do it together week in and week out, give it everything we had. That's something that we'll always, carry with us. So, in my eyes, it was a special year.
How hopeful are you that Juwan Jennings is back here next year?
Yeah, I'm extremely hopeful. He's my guy and love playing with him and everything that we've been through. And, he's a war daddy that every time you step out on that field, man, you're going to get your best and get everything from JJ. So, obviously I want my guy back.
There's also going to be a lot of interest in Mac Jones on the trade market this year. What would you say to teams that would want him to be their starter, and what was it like to have him here this past year?
He's the man. Love Mac. I think he comes in every single day with the right mindset to obviously help the quarterback room, help the team out. He's very smart. He takes care of business, and when you need him at the biggest stage and the biggest moment, he's going to deliver. And more than anything, he and I got really close, and he helped me, with my game. So I'll always appreciate him for that. But obviously I want the best for him, and I want him to have a great situation down the road. But if we get another year together, I'll be extremely happy about that too.
You said you want the most impactful thing that you learned from Mac?
I think just the day-to-day routine of how to be an NFL quarterback, just sort of picking his brain on that, and also just watching him play in our offense and our scheme and how efficient he was. And there's still things for me to learn from him too. When I go back and watch the film and how he played in the games that he did in our system, and but I just thought he was really efficient and very smart, decisive, and one heck of a competitor.
You said you want to improve the mental side of your game. What do you mean exactly by that?
Just mindset, in a game, in situations, even, leading up to a game, how I'm preparing. I still feel like there's some areas where, I can be on top of my craft and just being ready for games in general. I don't know, I feel like I'm always trying to find little tidbits and things, and that's why, I asked Mac or Mick Lombardi, every game's different. How do I prepare for a certain game and situation? So that's what I mean by that.
Brock, last year at this time, we were asking you a bunch of questions about your contract. This year, that's settled. You don't have that. How much better and different can this offseason be for you, just in terms of not having any sort of distraction? You can just kind of focus on the football.
Yeah, I think, mentally that was something for sure that obviously was there every day and whatnot. But, last year the nice thing was I still went about my business in terms of taking care of my body and training and getting ready for the season. in that regard. So, I'm going to do that as well. But mentally, it'll be nice to be able to, focus on my wife and our daughter and have that, sort of off the field kind of season of life, but also train my butt off to get ready to go and what the season holds next year. It's not going to, it never is it easy, any NFL season, so I got to get ready for that, but it'd be nice to get some time away with my family.
Get over there pushing Kittle around and making sure he's
Make sure George is on top of his rehab, so it'll be fun.
Brock, in the last 48 hours, you've walked up the field, the season over, you guys fly back, you're here, you're boxing up, you're going to walk out. What is the emotions of the finality of this season like feel for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long year. Just, coming into the year, I was like, man, I want to play my best year of football, and then, go into Seattle, and boom, I get turf toe, and overall I was out 8 weeks, and so for me it was like, dang, like this isn't how I expected the year to go for me personally, but we were also winning games. Matt came in, played great, and so I was trying to do everything I could to serve the QB room and our team, and then when I did come back, like finding ways to find myself and be able to play at a high level. So like it was just a lot emotionally and obviously physically. So, but that's playing in the NFL, and you got to find a way to at the end of the day be your best version of yourself and go win games. And so I'm proud that we were able to do that as a team. It sucks that how it ended. We also have that bitter taste in our mouth, but definitely going to learn from this, and I'm really excited for the future of the 49ers and what we're going to do moving forward.
Brock, when you first came back from the toe, when you came back at Arizona, how hard was that physically, or was it that hard? And what were you dealing with that first game back?
No, I was at a spot where I felt good, obviously enough to go out and play how I needed to play, and so going into that game, like after the game, I could feel my toe a little sore and whatnot, but that's part of it, and it didn't affect me and how I played and the decisions and all that. So I was happy with where I was at physically, and once I came back cleared, ready to go. I didn't try to think about my toe or anything like that. I've said that all year, and I stand by that. So.
I would just say if you're lying, it was lying.
Oh yeah, no,
just to you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, right.